Hey everyone, so great to see you again. It's Judy from Coffee, Cookies, and Books. And what we're going to do today is we're going to play YAHTZIFIED and pick May's TBR. So we are ready to pick May's TBR. We're going to get started with our usual YAHTZIFIED game first. Then we'll move on to the two spinner wheels based on whatever comes up in the YAHTZIFIED game. So with all that in mind, we're not going to drag our heels on this, and we're going to get started with roll number 1. All right, we're ready for our first roll on our May TBR game. And so this is the row that we're working on right now. And as things stand, we only have 4 spaces covered. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. And no, it's not, I'm not using the brightest stars, but these are the areas that we have covered right now. I'll bring this in a little bit closer so you can kind of see it there. Got that covered. And up here, we just have our 3 ones covered. So that's what we've got covered so far. And we still have our chance free roll open, which is great, because if we can keep that open till we get a little deeper in the game, it'll always come in handy. All right, so let's just roll for our first pick and see what we get. Let me pull my sleeve up so it doesn't get in the way. And what have we got here? We got some choices. We need 4s and 5s up here. So let's go with the 5s. Okay. Oh, and we did get another one. We already have a full house. That's already done. So let's see. Okay, so we can fill our 5s, which is great. Got our little stickers here. Okay. And pop in one on our 5s and pick just a regular book from our choices, right? That's it. Oh, let me just flip that around. Oops. Yeah, butterfingers right now. Okay, and split the deck. And what have we got? A Day of Fallen Night. Okay, I think that's Samantha Shannon. All right, our first choice is A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. And this is the prequel to A Priory of the Orange Tree, which I have not read. But I don't really think I kind of have to necessarily read it because this is quite a number of years before it, from what I understand. Tenova Mellon is a sister of the Priory. For 50 years, she has trained to slay Warms, but none have appeared since the Nameless One. And the younger generation is starting to question the Priory's purpose. To the north, in the Queendom of Innis, Sabrin the Ambitious has married the King of Hroth, narrowly saving both realms from ruin. Their daughter, Glorian, trails in their shadow exactly where she wants to be. The dragons of the East have slept for centuries. Demai has spent her life in the Sikenese Mountain Temple. These words, I don't know. Trying to wake the gods from their long slumber. Now someone from her mother's past is coming to upend her fate. When the Dread Mount erupts, bringing with it an age of terror and violence, these women must find the strength to protect humankind from a devastating threat. So that's this one. It is a chunker. Okay, so we shall see how that one goes. All right, so we're ready for our second roll. And of course, we always do 5 standard rolls. Okay, well, we've already got our 1s, but we do need 3 of a kind on a low roll and 4 of a kind on a low roll. So we'll go with the 1s on this one. Nope. And we didn't get it. Now we could take a free one, but as I said, going to leave it open. It's early in the game, so what we're going to do is we're going to roll the black dice. So just as a reminder, a 1 and a 4 is a prompt card, a 2 and a 5 is a reward card, and a 3 and a 6 is a misfortune card. Okay? And we got a 2, so we get a reward. And with the reward, we don't have to add a roll, which is really nice. And let's see what we get with this. Okay. It says Superfied. Choose either 2 stars or remove 2 stars or 2 books. Oh, what is it? No. Either add 2 stars to the game or remove 2 books. Okay. Now, we do have a choice on whether or not we want to, and I'm going to add 2 stars. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the 2 hardest ones to get, which would be YAHTZIFIED, 5 of a Kind, and a large straight, because those are the 2 hardest things there are to get. So I'm going to cover those, but I have a choice on whether or not I want to add a book. And I do want to add a book because we're just at the beginning. So we're going to go and we're going to add another book. Okay. So I think that that's actually a pretty good trade-off all around, right? Yeah. Okay. And what do we have? This one, we have Love and Other Words. I think that's by Christina Lauren. Okay, the next book that we have picked is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. And I have this really lovely special edition that I bought off of Book Outlet. You know, it has cute end papers. Doesn't have anything on the inside, just a little bit of decoration. Nothing crazy, but I thought it was a really pretty edition. It even has a bookmarker, which I think is great. So what's this one? Let's read it. What's your favorite word? Macy Sorensen is settling into an ambitious, if emotionally unsatisfying routine. Work hard as a San Francisco pediatrics resident, plan her wedding to an older, financially secure man, keep her head down and heart tucked away. It's the best way to ensure she won't get hurt again. But when she runs into Elliot Petropoulos, the first and only love of her life, the careful bubble she's constructed begins to dissolve. We'll leave it at that. So obviously it's a romance with a lot of complication in there. And I liked the sound of that one. I think I got that one for $7.99, even like the special edition on their sale. So super happy about that. All right, so let's move on to our next roll. All right, this game's rolling right along. We're on to roll 3. And we've got 5s already, so we're going to stick with the 3s. Come on. Don't be difficult. And we got our 3s. Yay. Okay. So we'll stick a star in our 3s, and we get to pick another book. All right. I like it when it goes like this. Maybe I shouldn't say anything because I could jinx myself, right? Yes. All right. What I've got here. Pretty Girls. I think that's by Karen Slaughter. Okay, so the next book that we picked is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. And again, another one that I managed to pick up off of Book Outlet, although I am a Karen Slaughter fan. Do like her writing. And this one is another one of the special editions with the sprayed edges, and got it for $7.99, which is really great. So let's read what this one's about. It says, Sisters, Strangers, Survivors. A glamorous trophy wife of an Atlanta millionaire is Claire. Lydia, a single mother dating an ex-con who struggles to make ends meet. Julia, the sister whose devastating disappearance more than 2 decades earlier shattered their family. When the shocking murder of Claire's husband brings the horror and heartbreak of her sister's disappearance roaring back, she's forced to form a wary truce with Lydia, whom she has not spoken to in decades. 2 crimes nearly a quarter century apart. What could connect them? Haunted, the surviving sisters begin to unearth the secrets that destroyed their family all those years ago and find the astonishing truth where they least expected it. So that's this one. Always good to add a thriller to the mix. So let's move on to our next roll. Okay, so far so good. Roll 4. We already got the small straights. We don't need that, but we do need 4s. Okay. And there's 1. Okay, so, yep, we got our 4s. So this is great. Pop that on here and pick another book, right? Yeah, these piles are hard to shuffle because, first of all, the card's curved for some reason, and also they're large, pretty large piles, right? So it takes a bit to shuffle them, but we get her done, right? That's it. Oh, To Cage a Wild Bird. That one is brand new. Okay, so the next book we picked is To Cage a Wild Bird, and that's by Brooke Fast. And this is one that I did get off Amazon. It's got the pretty sprayed edges. I don't know if it's got anything on the inside. No, nothing on the inside. And nothing fancy, just a basic edition with some sprayed edges to it. I have always wanted to read this one because I like the idea that it is a dystopian romance. So let's see what this one says it's about. In the city of Davidium, the law is simple. Commit a crime and your punishment is a life sentence in Enlock. Raventhorn is Davidium's most notorious bounty hunter, living on the edge of society, but when her younger brother Jed is sentenced to Enlock, Raven will do anything to save him, even if it means getting herself arrested. Now trapped in a prison where danger lurks around every corner, Raven must use all her cunning and strength to protect Jed and herself if she is to complete her perilous mission. But there's one obstacle she never expected. The prison guard who stirs something deep inside her, the man she should hate, the man whose true motives seem impossible to pin down. In a world where trust is a weapon and love is a liability, Raven must decide if she will risk everything to tear down a vicious system. That's it. Now, I do think it's a series. Pretty sure it's a series. So that's book 1 in a new series. Okay, let's see what we get on our next roll. All right, so hopefully 5th and final roll. Fingers crossed. We need 6s, so we will keep our 6s. No. We didn't get them, but we're going to use the free thrift. Well, no, I think we're going to do take another chance on what we get here. So we got a 4. So a 4 is prompt card. Yes. I had to think about that for a second. So 1 and a 4 prompt card, which is good because, prompt card makes us pick a book. Choose a mystery. Okay, that's a good choice. And because we missed it, we do have to add another roll. All right, so prompt card that we got is choose a mystery. And so what I did was I went on to my Goodreads choice challenge that I created, and I looked at the mystery category, and I picked the Ghostwriter by Julie Clark, because I've been wanting to read this one, got it from Book of the Month, and I thought perfect opportunity to throw on one of my challenges and add it into the mix. Now that did mean it's with the 5th book, but because we did miss our roll, we do have to add on another roll, so we will have another roll coming after this one. But this book is June 1975. The Taylor family shatters in a single night when 2 teenage siblings are found dead in their own home. The only surviving sibling, Vincent never shakes the whispers and accusations that he was the one who killed them. Decades later, the legend only grows as his career as a horror writer skyrockets. Ghostwriter Olivia Dumont has spent her entire professional life hiding the fact that she's the only child of Vincent Taylor. Now, on the brink of financial ruin, she's offered a job to ghostwrite her father's last book. What she doesn't know, though, is that this project is another one of his lies because it's not another horror novel he wants her to write. After 50 years of silence, Vincent Taylor is finally ready to talk about what really happened that night in 1975. So that's this one. Great edition. Can't wait to read it. All right, so let's move on to our next roll. Is it going to be our last roll? We shall see. Okay, so 6 rolls. 1 or 5. We both got them up here, but we need them down here. So let's go with the 5s. I might regret that choice, of course. All right. I'm going to take chance because I want to cut it off at 6 books. Okay, so we're going to fill that in. All right, so we have 5 spaces for the next game. And we're going to pick another set of books. Okay. Okay. And The Kingmaker. I think that's a romance. All right, and so the last book on the TBR, because we've only cut it off at 6 rolls, which I think is great, is The Kingmaker by Kennedy Ryan, which is a romance. And it says, raised to rule, bred to lead, and weaned on a diet of ruthless ambition. In a world of haves and have-not, Maxim Cade's family has it all, and he wants nothing to do with it. At odds with his oil mogul father, he's determined to build his own empire, even if it means traveling far from home, painted as the black sheep. Lennox Hunter is the exception to every one of Maxim's rules. Protesting the oil pipeline that threatens to destroy her ancestral land, she meets Maxim in a flurry of stars and sparks. The one moment changes everything, and it changes nothing. Maxim's family is still the one stealing from hers, and his father is still the man she hates most. He lies to have her once, and despite the truth, he'll do anything to keep her. Lennox tries to hate Maxim, but the inexorable pull between them, I can't speak English today, across miles and years will not be denied, and neither will Maxim. Anyways, you got the gist of that, even though I screwed that up a little bit, right? Okay, so yeah, and not too long. The romance, we will give it a try. I don't know if I read any romances by Kennedy Ryan. I have picked up a couple that I've gotten through the book outlet, and this was one of them, and I thought it sounded really great. And I think it's the first one in a series, so we'll see how I like that one. Okay, so that is it for our YAHTZIFIED game. So now we're going to move on to our spinner wheels. So the first wheels we're going to spin is we're going to spin the Goodreads Choice Challenge that I set up for myself because we already have 1 book, The Ghostwriter, going in there, so we only have to pick 2 more. So we're going to spin those and let's see what we get. Now, what I'm doing a little bit differently is I'm showing you the phone in the same position as the game because it gives you a good, clear view of what I'm spinning, and it also makes it a little bit easier for me to edit this stuff in. So that's how we're going to do it so that the editing stays consistent throughout. Hopefully you don't mind that. And so let's spin for our first book. Okay, so first spin for the Goodreads choices. And we are doing them here from now on, as I mentioned, because it's just going to be easier for you to see it in live action. So here we go, and this is for the Goodreads, and we're only going to do 2 because we already picked one in our YAHTZIFIED game. So let's go first one. Let's actually do a shuffle and spin. Okay, the Raven Scholar. Oh, that's a fantastic choice. Okay, so the, well, I guess technically the second book that we got, because the first one is in my YAHTZIFIED game, is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. Now, of course, this is a very, very, very thick book, but yeah, I really wanted to read this one for a while. I've heard a lot of really great things about it, and most people who like it, I very much respect their opinions, so I'm hoping that I like it as well. It is, and I think it's going to be a trilogy. Yeah, it says book 1 of the Eternal Path trilogy. So there's going to be 3 books, and this sucker is not short. It's like 600 pages. So, The Raven Scholar is a masterfully woven tale of imperial intrigue from an electrifying new voice in epic fantasy. Let us fly now to the Empire of Oran, where after 24 years of peace, the reign of Burson the Brusque has come to an end. In the dizzying heat of midsummer, 7 exceptional warriors, thinkers, and strategists compete to replace him. When one of them is murdered, it falls to Nima Cray, the Emperor's brilliant, idiosyncratic high scholar, another one of those words, right? To find the killer and fight for the throne. Nima believes she is alone, but we're here to help. All she has to do is let us in. If she succeeds, we will win an empire. If she fails, death awaits her, but we won't let that happen. We are the Raven, and we are the Magnificent. So that's this one. Yeah, super excited. Really, really, really want to read this one, and I'm glad that one came up. Okay, so let's see what our final spin is going to be for the Goodreads choices. Okay, next spin for our Goodreads choices. Oh, good choice. We are all guilty here. Okay, so the last one that I picked is We Are All Guilty Here by Karen Slaughter. I think this is also under the mystery category along with The Ghostwriter, I think. But we'll confirm that at the end, see how we're doing. But again, another one by Karen Slaughter. We already have Pretty Girls by her on here, so, you know, that'll be 2. Let's see, this is the first thrilling mystery in the new North Falls series from Karen Slaughter. Welcome to North Falls, a small town where everyone knows everyone, so they think, until the night of the fireworks when 2 teenage girls vanish and the town ignites. For Officer Emily Clifton, it's personal. She turned away when her best friend's daughter needed help, and now she must bring her home. But as Emmy combs through the puzzle the girls left behind, she realizes she never really knew them. Nobody did. Every teenage girl has secrets, but who would hide for them, and what else is the town hiding? So that's it for that. And so those are the Goodreads awards. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to spin for my series choices, and we'll see what we get for that. Okay, first spin for the series challenge. We're just going to shuffle it up a little. And there's our first spin. Okay, so the first one that came up for the series choices is The Right Move by Liz Tomforty. And so this is the second book in the Windy City series. And I'm very excited to finally get back to this. Read the first one last year and haven't really gotten back into this series. So that's how come I placed it in my series challenge, because after I read each one, the next one automatically goes on the spinner wheel. So That's what we have. And this one is actually one that I was really looking forward to because the main male character is Ryan, and Ryan is the brother of the main female character in the first book. So Ryan says she's a distraction. That's what she is. I'm the news captain of the Devils, Chicago's NBA team, and the last thing I need this year was for Indy Ivers, my sister's best friend, to move into my apartment. She's messy, emotional, and way too tempting. Okay. And then Indy, I never imagined I'd be living with my best friend's brother, NBA star Ryan Shea. Even more unbelievable, he needs me to act as his loving girlfriend who suddenly changed him into a friendly and approachable guy. So that's this one. It's like I loved both their characters. Honestly, I loved both of them. So that's why it's like super looking forward to reading this one. And, it's a great romance to put on the TBR. Okay, so let's do another spin. Second spin. Oh, another romance. Well, looks like romances are abound in this TBR because now we have another one, which is the second book in is it the Eden series? It's Juniper Hill by Devney Perry. I think it's the Eden series, if I'm not mistaken. Does it actually say? Doesn't actually say. Yes, it's the Eden series. So this is the second one. Indigo Ridge was the first one, and I read that and absolutely loved it. I actually really like Devney Perry's writing, particularly when she writes romantic suspense, and that's what this one is. Again, it's an interconnected story, much like the Windy City series. Every set of books is two different people in the same world, right? So this one is Memphis Ward arrives in Quincy, Montana on the fifth worst day of her life. She needs a shower, she needs a snack, she needs some sanity, because moving across the country with her newborn baby is by far the craziest thing she's ever done. But maybe it takes a little crazy to build a good life. If putting the past behind her requires 1,000 miles in a new town, she'll do it if it means a better future for her son. Even if it requires setting aside the glamour of her former life, even if it requires working as a housekeeper at the Eloise Inn and living in an apartment above her garage. It's there on the fifth worst day of her life that she meets the handsomest man she's ever laid eyes on, Knox Eden, his beautiful, sinful dream, a chef, and her temporary landlord. So, leave it at that. I'm pretty sure that the suspense will be whatever she's running away from. Gonna guess, because that's usually the way it goes. And again, not too long a book, and it sounds like it's going to be just what I need as a difference for this, and I'm actually excited to continue on that series. Do not have the next book, which I think is Garnet Flats, but I will pick that up after I've read that one. Okay, so now we're on to the last spin for my series challenge. And last spin, let's just do a shuffle again. Okay, so the last book is another Karen Slaughter book, and that is because it is part of the Grant County series. Okay, I'm actually reading Kiss Cut, like kind of right now while I'm filming this, which is the second book in the series. This one is the third book, so it'll be in April for one, May for the next one, because I will read on. Series is so good. Now it is a police procedural type series, sort of. One of the main characters, Sarah Linton, she is a medical examiner, and then her husband is the sheriff in town, and each book is a separate case. Okay, so this one is a suicide on a college campus, a tragic case with a simple resolution. But for medical examiner Sarah Linton, the evidence just doesn't add up. When 2 more suspicious deaths follow and a young woman is brutally attacked, it becomes clear that she's looking for a murderer. So that's this one. Okay, so that's it for this. So the last thing I need to add is a brand new book that came in that I absolutely want to physically read. And I am supposed to buddy read this with my friend Amanda from Amanda's Booktopia. And she didn't love the first book, but she's going to try the second book because she liked the sound of it. I read the first book twice. First time I read it, gave it 2 stars. Second time I read it, I gave it 5 stars. And that is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Cleaver. So the new one is The Caretaker by Marcus Cleaver. So I'm going to put it up here because I don't have the physical in my hands just yet, but I am going to be getting it. And I do really, really want to read this. And I do really want to read it physically because if you don't, like, it's one of these books that I had, like in the first one, I had to annotate it all the way through. I actually listened to a few people talk about it after I read it the first time. We Used to Live Here, and that was where now my mind is in that world, in Marcus Cleaver's mind, going into this new book. So I'm like super stoked about it. It's kind of like, I guess, what you would call a 5-star prediction for me. Fingers crossed it comes out really well. So that is the only book, like I said, I don't have physically right now. But let's just do a quick rundown of everything that we have. So we have Faint Cold Fear by Karen Slaughter, Juniper Hill by Devney Perry, The Right Move by Liz Tomforty, We Are Guilty Here by Karen Slaughter, The Raven Scholar by Antonio Hodgson. Got to make room. Okay. The Kingmaker by Kennedy Ryan, The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark, To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast, Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, and last but not least, A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. So that's my TBR for May. Holy crap. Okay, now, what I am going to say is that I think what I may do is that I might do a reading vlog with all the Karen Slaughter books, because there are 3, and 2 of them are older, and 1 is fairly brand new, which is We Are All Guilty Here. So I thought that what I'd do is start with the oldest one and kind of work my way through the 3 and just kind of record my thoughts as I'm going through them. I don't really love to do vlogs, but I would just kind of sit here and do it here and give you a rundown at kind of the 50% mark, and then give you the full rundown at the 100% mark. So I thought I'd kind of do it that way and do it for all 3. And I think that would be a lot of fun with those 3 particular books, because I typically only do one of these kind of a month. And yeah, I thought that sounds like it would be a lot of fun, right? Yeah. So, I mean, if there's something else here that you think you would like for me to do, now I'm going to be perfectly frank. A Day of Fallen Night might not get to that one, because Raven Scholar I would prefer to read, and that is a chunker, and so I'm not going to read 2 chunkers. Only going to read 1. So I don't know if I'm going to get to this one or not, but you never know. I might. It'll be one of those ones where I think what I'm going to do is maybe do something where we take the thicker books or the fantasy books, because I think I've got 3 major fantasies in there, and we read the first chapter, and then from the first chapter, I decide whether or not I'm going to go on with the book. And then we do a vlog, okay? And we'll put them in order, and then whether or not I finish them will be determined by the end of the month. Yeah, so maybe we'll do that too. I don't know. You can let me know what you think. Whatever you think you want me to do, I'm willing to try. because, you know, this is fun, and this is not just about me. This is about you guys too. Okay, so I'm going to leave it in your hands to kind of give me a little bit of guidance here, because I would love your thoughts. Okay, so that's it. That is my May TBR. And so for June, we're going to play the YAHTZIFIED game. And then if we end the YAHTZIFIED game in June, then we will be playing my new Tic-Tac TBR, which I introduced just before this video came about. And I hope you guys are going to have some fun with that too. All right, that's it. I'm done. Finished talking, and I will see you the next time around.